this is the most important work that RBN does. Like sometimes I have fun on here, we talk shit, I explain theory, but the goal of RBN is to elevate activism, anti-colonial thought, and revolutionary change. And the best thing we can do with our platform is to elevate the voice of the voiceless. I am not a fan of Tucker Carlson at all, but he had a Palestinian pastor on his show, and the backlash he got for just having a Palestinian on the show. Once again, take Tucker out of it. That's not that relevant. But he just had a Palestinian on the show, and the backlash he got was insane because he had the audacity to hear from a Palestinian. That culture is disgusting to me. We didn't hear from Palestinian voices and people who organize with Palestinians. I want to ask you guys about your individual activism, your actual organization, because I was kind of assuming that you guys are in one, but it actually works because I would love to spotlight the work that you guys do. And also the general question I'm going to pass to each one of you guys is how people can help. So that's the theme of the question. Then you also can talk about your organizing as well. So actually, I can start with you and then we go Bushra, or you can pass to Bushra. I want to go around the panel.
Sure. I don't know how if everyone here has an organization they represent, but they're all very principled folks, which is why they're here. We're just my group. We're just a collective. So we don't have actually like a 501c3 or anything. We don't like take official donations, nothing like that. But we do try to raise awareness, not just in our own community, but like online, like Instagram, Twitter, which I know is like kind of brushed off sometimes. It's just okay, it's just online spaces, but we try to do as much as we can. We're small, we don't have a ton of capacity, but not only try to raise awareness, but we try to challenge Zionism, things as they exist, right? And I don't just mean like your typical like overt Zionists that you see running around with a stupid Zionist flag spitting in your face, which I've had plenty of times. But I also mean, and I won't spend too much time on this because I'm sure plenty of the folks here can spend lots of time on what I'm about to say. So I will just, but also on, broadly what we refer to as normalizers. And that can refer to like the really overt, Zionists, but also refer to really anybody, and people can go into this more, than me probably, really anybody that tries to, I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like, make the occupation normal in some way. And that specifically, that also means people who pose as our allies, right? And I'm going to just say the name. I don't care. This is going to get me in a lot of shit, but I'm already in a lot of shit. So it is what it is. Groups like Jewish Voice for Peace, okay? If not now, I'm gonna miss several, but there are many. They just they pose as allies, but once you really start digging into it, they're actually harmful to our movement. And I don't want to go into that all right now because I know we're just doing a quick introduction.
Yeah, so I actually kind of explained before, there are a lot of people tricking people right now. And I think speaking up on this is good, but I don't consider you good on this issue if you condemn Palestinian resistance. And there are people that do that all the time. But I won't pass it. I'm gonna go in the same order. Bushra, I want to ask you guys just the very broadly about the state of the Palestinian resistance, any organizing that you guys do, and your thoughts on any way that people can help the Palestinian resistance, just to give us warmed up.
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, I've been involved for a very long time across different organizations that have a national standing or a localized standing. And I was also an organizer back home in Palestine when I lived there. And so I have folks on the ground that I'm related to, and I know kind of the ins and outs of how things go when it comes to containment or how our liberation movement is presented to the West and where this language comes from. And that's really my interest right now after doing a lot of education work, fundraising, boycott, strategy, advocacy, that have hit, pretty largely. Like some of these things are well known, but along my principles, I don't like to say who I am or what positions I held, or it's for the people. And we, just like our martyrs, and they're the ones who have done the most. And I'm nothing to ever try to sit here and rattle off a resume like some of these influencers do online to try to build cred when we know it's liberals who fund them and bring them the fake followers to even have a platform. So I'm not gonna.
Do you mind if I in a very friendly way push back at that? Because I think if you share the work that you do, you can inspire people to get into activism.
I think
I
at
think
the
go ahead.
I think at the baseline, a lot of people wait for an organization to invite them or to prompt them, and sometimes you gotta create it or at least study it. And so a lot of times for me, because I worked in media a bit when I was back home, it's one thing people can start working on just from their own devices is just study the language of our resistance. Once you
Absolutely.
see that language and you contrast that to what the language is here in the West, in the belly of the beast of imperialism, you'll know something is off. And that's going to help you navigate towards the right organizations and the right people and the right platforms, the right fundraising and mutual aid. Naturally, you're going to start seeing alignment. And I think that's what's really cool about the group we have here is that's how we all came to be. That's how we all know each other, was that alignment from our own self-initiated commitment to a principled line rather than taking orders from like these big orgs or whatever. So one of the things as consumers is we got to stay away from the branding that a lot of these organizations put out. And that's kind of just to be really real with you all is kind of one of the reasons why I kind of float across many organizations and different communities beyond just Palestinian. But I come from a working class background that matters to me. It matters to me to center the indigenous struggle and Black liberation here and understanding my context here. But that's one of the reasons why I kind of drift away from the brand name 501c3s is because in the end, you always hit a glass ceiling. Or in my case, people try to buy you out. And that's the real of it. There's money involved. And some of us want true liberation. We're going to stay away from what tempts a lot of these weaker folks.
You don't understand how much I'm loving what I'm hearing because it sounds like your critique of a lot of the mainstream pro-Palestinian group is similar to the critique that I have of the professional managerial class. The professional managerial class left, who greatly let me down, and I view this channel as adversarial to these people because they harmed left-wing movements. I smoke these progressive accept Palestine people. And people wonder why am I so well read on this issue? I'm not. I listen to Ashley. Ashley, when last time we had you guys on? I know you Ashley love to be humble. Stop. So we had you and your friends on during the Anti-Imperialist Summit, and I told you guys I listen to the Palestinians. I'm not special on this issue. The only thing I do different than the United States left is I listen to the Palestinians and I repeat what they say. And what a lot of white saviors do, a lot of professional managerial class, they come out in front, and trust me, I know, because they do this on Black issues too. They drive me fucking crazy with this. When they come out and say, I'm the leader, I know what's best for you guys. Actually, do you want to chime in? If not, we can pass to Save. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one really, really fast. Sorry. The things that our group kind of puts out, we try our best. We really it's okay things I say, but really we try really hard to, as Bushra said, to sort of follow the line of the Palestinian resistance to as much as possible, try to elevate their positions and voices, because ultimately those are the voices that matter.